Broadcasting live from an undisclosed location in the middle of nowhere. Possibly underneath of a 50-foot bunker. Maybe not, though. Time
But probably.
will tell.
Most likely.
It's Farm Nerds.
Or more specifically, Farm Nerds Talk. This
Yes.
is the first episode. Well, second, really, because we're the Kingsman review.
Kingsman, let's call that talk.
Is that going to be a Farm Nerds Talk?
Let's do a solo talk.
Because it would have been a solo. It would have been a duel if you guys, or trio if you guys had.
Do you want to
seen
make
it.
porn jokes for that one?
No,
For the talk one?
no.
Like solo vid?
But anyway, our topic tonight, instead of being about a movie, is about podcasts.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Why?
who we follow. We'll each do 2 podcasts and why we follow them, and then we'll also do why we're doing a podcast.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah. Let's introduce ourselves first. I'll go first. I am Joey. You can follow me at...
Camera,
yeah.
don't look
Sorry.
at me. I know you.
Do you know me? No, yeah, my name is Joey, and you can follow me at Private Joke on Instagram, and what was my Twitter handle?
At Joey needs a Twitter.
At Joey needs a Twitter.
If it's there. If it's not there, I'll put a different thing.
It'll
Yeah,
be up
we'll
there
get
within the
something.
next day. I'll
Yeah,
set
I'll
it
be
up for him
close.
otherwise.
Yeah,
Thank you. My laziness does take me over.
You're welcome.
yeah. And Brennan?
You can find me on Twitter at YetiPocalypse. And my blog is the letter bspearhead.com. So it's bspearhead.com. If you're interested in all things performance-based, if you're looking to get more out of your mind, more out of your body, I am always collecting things I find interesting and worthwhile there. So check that out.
And I'm Thomas. You can follow me on Twitter at Mr. Wartburg. Also, if you want to follow my inane ramblings on Rooster Teeth, I'm under the same username, spelled the same and everything. Those are in the links for all our individual channels and links and everything like that in the description below. So follow us along if you happen to like the way we think and do shit. Not how we shit, that's our own stuff, but how we do other things.
If they could see how I would shit, they'd be really impressed.
It'd be like, oh, I like that. I'm going to follow that. Yeah.
Letter S floaters all day. High protein, high fat, son.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
it's
all
a
about.
it's a curved C. He must be doing something right with his diet. I'm gonna follow that dude. Yeah, I'm smelling.
I promise you won't find any of that at my blog.
That's only here. only here. Yeah, feces jokes all the time.
Yes.
They're always a winner. Always.
Highbrow
Classic.
stuff going
Yeah.
on. Highbrow.
But to our topic,
High brown stuff.
Joey,
Yeah.
do your first podcast. Who do
The
you follow
first
and why?
podcast
The
is
first one. Who's your first follow and why? Not your
My
first like ever, but like
first ever. I was like,
you
holy
gotta go to.
balls.
who and why.
First podcast is, of course, I do this as a limited resources. It's a magic podcast that, oh God.
Magic the Gathering.
Magic the Gathering. Thank you. MTG.
Yeah.
It's a very informational podcast that does, they do a lot of good things, like when new set releases come out, they go over cards. They actually have a judge come on the show and explain how this card works with this card, good combinations, and do mock drafts on the thing. And it's just very entertaining. I love everyone that's on that. I mean,
Yeah.
and a shout out to Channel Fireball that just took it over. So, I mean, it's a
And-
great podcast. It's very informational. I love everyone that's on it. And, yeah, educate me. It took me to... it made me get the cojones to go to my first, actually, standard tournament where I went 4 and 5 with a red-white heroes deck. Really kind of upset a lot of people. It's pretty
Yeah.
nice.
That's very fascinating.
Thank you.
Yeah, and all these, if they're on YouTube anyway,
Yeah.
we'll be putting like annotations like here and here
They
over
are.
the posters, just in case you want to click on them and see what we're talking about. If not, the links will all be below on for redundancy's sake anyway.
Yeah.
Brennan, we'll go over to you.
Oof. I have to pick top 2.
One for now.
One for
we'll
now.
do the next round.
I'm going to look
We're
for
going to do another round?
Yeah.
Okay, if... I'm always... Stuff in my life either has to make me laugh or make me think.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do one of each.
Okay.
I think that's all right. And Joe Rogan would fit into both of those categories.
Okay.
And he's popular enough, he probably doesn't need my plug. I would say the
No.
one that makes me think
You're not
would
legit
be...
until you get Farm Nerds plugged. Then you know you've made it.
The one that would that makes me think is Tim Ferriss's podcast.
Okay.
He's the author of infomercial sounding books like The 4-Hour Body, The 4-Hour Work Week, and The 4-Hour Chef. But everything he does is about dissecting how how we learn things and how we do things, and finding the 20% of what we do that gets 80% of our results. And so we can do more of those 20% things. So we can do those 20% things 100% of the time and get more out of our lives.
Yeah.
And there's so much noise out there. So I think that's very fascinating to focus in on, that we get the most out of our time that we can. And that's what his podcast is all about. And it's about performing on the highest level. And I love it.
Cool.
That's a good one.
I like it. I'll have to check that one out. My go-to is what got me into the realm of podcasting itself. Got to be the Rooster Teeth podcast.
No, God, yes.
I mean,
Very
it
classic.
is like, I didn't get into Rooster Teeth until I was, I apparently made a account when I was like 20. I don't remember this shit. And I really don't. I remember the password randomly. It's an account on roosterteeth.com. I've never touched it, and it's there. My password, my email, my birth date, my hometown. I remember making the thing. And I can't drink, so I don't know what the fuck I did to make this thing and not remember. I have a great memory.
You were just high on life, man.
Can't remember.
High
But I
on
really
life.
didn't start following Rooster
All
Teeth
day,
until I was
every
about
day.
22, graduating college, basically. And, like, now they live stream it. It's really professional. It is a great, it's a production.
Yeah.
Not just a podcast. It's a production. And I like their topics. Like, also, I've been a fan of their content before I started watching the podcast, so I knew kind of who they were.
Like
Right.
RVB and stuff.
From a entertainment standpoint. And now I
Like
was
Red versus Blue and all that
yeah,
stuff. Yeah.
now I'm watching people that I've been fans of just talk to each other.
Yeah.
And that's really cool. It kind of like their content and like their energy about the whole thing really got me into, man, I love watching podcasts. I'm going to tune in every time they live stream because I'm a sponsor, and it's what got me into doing podcasting.
Right.
Yeah.
Community is super huge in these things.
Oh,
Yes.
very much so.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you can form a community around something,
GG.
then you're really on
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joey,
Absolutely.
what is your second podcast?
My second one was going to be the Rooster Teeth, but we already kind of covered that. So
we can have
we can do a double
we
one?
can have,
No, you can't.
Can I have a double? All right.
okay.
Well, I'm going to go with Kind of Funny then.
Well, damn you.
'Cause they're
I don't
freaking-
have a second.
I know, that was my thing. I was like, I have three. And
I have
we
one
both
for
like
you.
the same.
I'll cover your second one.
And reason why I like...
no, I do have one.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I know what you can say. But, yeah, Kind of Funny. Reason it's great entertainment for everything. I mean, they covered the gaming now since they got rid of
The
IGN.
Gamecast.
The
Yeah.
Gamecast
Well,
and
they didn't
everything.
get rid of IGN. They left IGN.
They left IGN. Yeah, well, they really just like,
Okay.
fuck IGN. No, they literally just left it. And I'm actually a newcomer to this, Kind of Funny.
Yeah.
And I might be as educational as most of their followers are. But yeah, their content's freaking hilarious. And their podcast is amazing.
Yeah.
The thing is interesting. Their podcast is different. They part it out, and then they give you the whole thing.
Yeah.
So they give you segments of it, which I think that's different.
Each-
and
yeah.
it's their own niche. And it's
So you
cool.
can click on what's interesting
Yeah,
to you.
like
Exactly.
segments. Like we
And
covered Aquaman.
They have a guy who's
Right.
much like you. He's like very libertarian and everything, and he's like his whole thing is we don't want to give you too much content. We want to give you enough that you can consume that you want to.
Right.
That's it. We don't want to make any more.
That's an interesting idea.
Like they don't want to be putting out 7 videos a day. Like they're
Yeah.
like, yeah, we put out maybe 2 or 3 a day, on top of their live stream stuff that they do every morning, which is really groundbreaking on Twitch. Awesome stuff. And like, yeah, they every guest will bring a topic. I didn't want to copy their stuff. I'm a huge fan of it, which is why our podcast
Yeah.
is a little different.
Right.
I didn't want to rip completely off of them, but
It's great
it's
stuff,
a really
though.
great production podcast, and it's why I bought my
Just-
soundboard because of what Nick Scarpino is doing on their podcast.
Yeah.
He live edits like this, and it's awesome.
Never be afraid of stealing great ideas.
Oh no, that's why I did this. But I don't want to. I don't want to completely ape somebody just to do it. You know.
Well,
Yeah.
the content's completely different.
Yeah,
exactly.
But
Yeah.
I'm going to have to check that one out.
You should.
You
That sounds
really
interesting.
What is your second one, Brennan?
Oh, there's so many. There's so many good ones. If I, at the end of the day, well, this is actually what I listen to on the elliptical 4 times a week, and it's the Fighter and the Kid podcast.
should. Fighter and the Kid.
The Fighter and the Kid.
I like that name.
It's the Brian Callen, who's a stand-up comedian. He's the well, they only put out 2 a week, so I listen to it 2 nights a week. But I was recycled
Yeah.
through the old episodes
Oh, yeah.
because I caught up about episode 200, something like that. And so he's the guy in The Hangover who works at the wedding chapel.
Oh, I got you.
Oh.
Yeah, but he doesn't have that accent in real life. Yeah. It's him and Brendan Schaub, who is a heavyweight MMA fighter in the UFC.
I know him.
And they do this podcast together, and it is so fucking funny. It is. it will have me rolling the entire time. But it'll
It's a good
have me
podcast.
rolling, like, because one will be sitting there like, how gay am I right now? Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, like, I just said something that's
Yeah.
a little gay.
Yeah.
And then in the next sentence, I'll be talking about the problem with education in America.
Yeah.
They cover
yeah.
the gamut, and that's just who Brian Callen is. And Brendan Schaub has always given him shit about, it is excellent. So that's when I'm on the elliptical, because that's when stuff sucks.
When you're like, well, now I have to work
so if
out.
you can, if you can smile,
Yeah.
it helps you get through that workout, and that's what I
Yeah.
listen to while I'm doing that stuff.
I like it.
Yeah.
Remember to shoot me the links for these two, because Joey's I have the links. Or I can
They're both on iTunes.
Oh no! Shoot me the info so I can link them correctly.
Okay, yeah, I will.
But my second one, there's a couple I follow. One of the ones I recently found on YouTube, I really found it last year after Comic-Con, was the Kevin Pollak show. I don't know if he's still making it. Just because he always has celebrities on for like 2 hours and they just talk about shit. Mm-hmm. And I like to follow like specific people, like Nathan Fillion's episode I watched because that guy's awesome. And like if Stephen Amell ever like does stuff, I follow what he does. But to your point on the community from Rooster Teeth, the other one I follow religiously is a community podcast, the Forum Thread podcast. I've been on it several times myself, but like I started following it because like they're just people that I kind of, before I started like being on it, I kind of knew who they were. Like we really didn't interact, but it was always a fun thing. And they do something different where they just live stream it over Twitch. They'll play a video game on their monitor, or somebody will be live playing it while they're doing the podcast. So they can get around. Twitch used to have a thing where you had to play a video game to live stream.
Mm-hmm.
Now they don't. They have a separate thing where you can make like
Which
a
God
show
bless them.
out of it. And I should maybe bring that up to them because I don't know if they know, which I think they do. They should. But which is something I kind of want to do maybe if we ever get into that is wow, that got really quiet all of a sudden.
Yeah, you kind of dibbled out there, bud.
Yeah, like the whole thing just got really quiet.
That's right. It's mostly just you talking, so you can amp it up when you get later on and edit.
Yeah, I guess I will. But it was just weird. It just all of a sudden was quieter in my headset. But it's just a really good like community-produced podcast. People who are just like, hey, we like this thing. We're bonding over it. It's like a podcast.
That's the beauty of the fucking internet, man.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And like another community one, the LBF podcast I used to run, which is sadly no longer a thing. I can still link you to the channel because the community, people who were fans like myself, may end up taking it over because it's a cool channel name.
Yeah.
It's a good community channel name that we might eventually find a way to give back to the community, which spawned it. We made a podcast for a full year. We made 25 episodes. We did a bunch of Let's Plays that I'm really proud of how the edits turned out. It was a lot of fun, and they were people from around the world. We had Denmark, Sweden, Wales, people moving around. We had Singapore. Like myself, I'm one of the few Americans. Like we're very much international group,
And that's very awesome too.
Yeah,
That's what I like about the internet. You can communicate with people from all around the
Right,
world. Like,
absolutely.
Skype is awesome.
yeah, well, like in the major thing that I liked, like back every time I think about like the internet and like how it's so great is back when I used to play Battlefield a lot. I had a couple friends. It was really difficult to get with them, but like they're from Australia and from Florida and Texas and stuff. When we were a hell of a crew, we go and wreck house and
it's
just-
a bitch
yeah.
to make work, but you make it work.
You make
because
it
it's
work.
Fun.
yeah, you enjoy what you
Makes
do.
the world a small place, and that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, especially a friend from Australia.
Well, that's
loved that guy.
this is completely off tangent, but Friday night I was out at the bar and here, and there's a guy who owns honeybees. So he starts in the spring, and they start up in northern Minnesota, and then they lay out these honeybees all the way
Yeah.
to Louisiana, and
'Cause
then they
there's a
go and they
shortage.
pick them all back up in the fall
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
as
there's-
the freeze comes in.
yeah.
Well, and the people he has working for him are from South Africa.
Wow.
And they're all white guys from South
Damn.
Africa because it's after apartheid crashed. Apparently, it's rough for those guys.
Yeah.
If you stayed in country, it's rough for white people in South Africa. And
Wait.
I don't know anything about it. That's the story I was told.
Okay.
I can
But
see it.
but it makes sense. But it was still very fascinating to me. You know,
Where'd you find those people? Probably
Yeah.
internet. Yeah.
you know,
what
and
happens?
it's the same thing because that just happened because of where I am.
Yeah.
That I got to get that insight into what's really going on over there.
Yeah.
According to so and so.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that even gets discussed is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
and not
absolutely.
just in we're making fun of them because we don't know. Like,
Right.
there's like some kernel of truth in there. Like like what you're saying. It's kind of just breaking down barriers.
Yeah.
All the time.
It is. It's a knocking down barriers. I never
Why
met this
I'm
guy
really
from
glad
Australia.
the SEC stuff happened. Like, and if it
Yeah.
holds, thank God.
We have fast internet.
No, like we just
No
it
throttling.
won't become corporate controlled, which
it's
is
beautiful.
compartmentalized. Nobody will talk to each other. It's bad for what the
Yeah.
internet needs to be, which is a public forum, which is basically what it is. It's a public forum of sharing information. Compartmentalize that, you destroy what it is.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Can I do my honorable mention list?
Go
yeah,
ahead.
go for it.
Okay, Barbell Shrugged. If you're into lifting weights, that's the one for you. They teach you how to do it really well. Startup. That is
you've been
about-
telling me to get on those for.
It is so good. It's about a startup company who's starting up doing podcasts.
Yeah,
So they go through about their challenges
yeah.
in their startup.
So it's
that
called
does
Startup.
that
Ah.
does podcasts.
I'm done with that.
I like that.
It's very fascinating. It's because he has conversations with his wife about the problems he's having. It's very personal, very real. I love it. It's
Very
great.
nice.
Spartan Up. That's another one
Yeah.
about weightlifting. Oh, you put that one on when
dabbled in that one. That's a good podcast.
you put that one on. Like I said, when you're on the elliptical, you're lifting weights, and you can crank out a little bit more because it's inspirational as all hell. Bulletproof
Makes you feel
Radio.
good.
Dave Asprey is a genius. He's a smart guy. Common Sense with Dan Carlin.
Nice.
He breaks down all the stuff going on in the news today. That just it's common sense.
Oh, so he
A
just
lot
breaks
of
it
it.
down so we can understand.
Well, his latest episode was about how we shouldn't be messing around in Ukraine.
Yeah, no fucking way.
Well, and he breaks it down in the way that if Russia was trying to annex Mexico, would we let that stand?
Probably.
Yeah.
For me, yes.
Yeah, it sounds like a good idea. No,
No.
that's why we blackballed
Yeah.
Cuba for the last 50 years. Was for that reason. So like he breaks down everything going on in the world in a way that just it's so simple, so concise. It's awesome.
That's nice.
And he does a hardcore history podcast. His one about the Mongols is great. It's excellent. And I'll just do one more. And it's London Real.
London Real.
London Real. It's this guy, he used to work at in the city in London, trading stocks, and he gave up billions to start a podcast.
Well,
And he gets
What a guy.
inspirational people in there to talk. That's where that Vinay Gupta,
yeah.
he was on that podcast, and that's how I first came across him.
Okay.
So, and he's had Tim Ferriss on there. He's had all types of great guys on there. So check that out too. My favorite one is his one with Peter Sage. That made me change a lot of things in my life. Was that one single episode?
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, a podcast can do something when it's like, when you're like, oh shit.
Well-
I have to kind of alter what I'm thinking. Like,
Well, they say that you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future.
oh wow.
And it is very true. It's the most true thing I've ever come to find in my life. And that's what that podcast reinforced for me. And after that, I listened to that. Some people got cut out. And some people got added back in,
I'm glad I'm here.
for now.
God bless me.
We'll find out next week if that holds.
But it was a real, like, if that's what you really want, this is what you're really gonna have to do type of podcast. And I thought that was,
It's beautiful.
well, it really is, and because podcasting we don't have access to those kinds of people here either.
Yeah.
don't.
It takes totally different perspectives from around the world into one place.
Right. So being able to access how those people think at the highest level of their game
Yeah.
it's invaluable. And anyone who says it's not worth, like,
Has never listened to one. That's a good one anyway.
well, or they're just stuck in their ways.
Yeah, they don't want to change.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's easy not to.
Oh yeah, totally.
Well, if you're
know?
comfy in your scenario, you're comfy in your scenario.
Right.
I mean, if you feel like, well, this is what I'm going to do the rest of my life,
Right.
this is what I'm going to do.
Well, let's talk about why we're doing
Yeah,
this
exactly.
podcast.
We have 14 minutes left on the memory card.
All right.
So yeah, why are we making
start over
a
there.
podcast?
No, because I'm going to drop some real heavy shit.
All right. For firstly, since I kind of started the channel, I knew I kind of wanted to make one specifically with you guys because, throughout, the years that I've known you guys, you're the two that I can always bounce ideas off of, that I can always talk real with, no matter what's going on, like with the Crohn stuff, with any problems I'm having. Yeah. You guys are my guys that I know anyway, before I went to college. And you're also the two guys who are still around, which is important too, because we have access to each other so we can actually communicate effectively.
Right.
On top of, but mostly is the fact that you guys are my guys, and so I made the channel, and the name really doesn't matter, but I made the channel with the intent we were going to make a podcast,
right?
Because I just want to do that kind of thing. Like I just want to. We talk anyway. Like before my surgery, the first time, kind of freaking out. Like, all right, I'm going to come talk to Brennan. And we sat in your apartment, that crappy apartment, and talked. We sat outside. So we decided to go sit outside for 3 hours in August, and and
it was a beautiful night.
Yeah, and just talk shit for 3 hours, and then I was like, all right, I'm gonna go have surgery. If shit happens, I'm okay. Like knowing that.
And we disagreed a lot that night too.
Yes,
which is also something I respect the shit out of you for.
Yeah, we can disagree.
Because we are on two ends of the political spectrum.
Yeah, we are so close on it that our differences are magnified. That's where I see it as.
Well, that's also very true. Yeah.
And that's good. That kind of dialogue is important. And Joey,
because it makes me think.
Yeah, Joey, you are young. To me, you're basically the guy. Like if I didn't have a brother, and Chad, you would be my brother. And that's why I wanted to make one with you. And Brendan, so I know we can always have a great conversation and we're great friends. Right. That's why I'm doing it. And what about you guys?
Well, for me, it's both you guys. I've never had an older brother or anything, and I am the youngest of the group, and I do look up to both of you as like a brother figure, and we always can bounce any conversation off each other. And right here, man.
It feels.
It's like the ending of Titanic.
I'm gonna stab the feels.
But no, I mean,
Brennan will. He'll just be dropping bombs.
We'll see.
Die.
No, but I mean, like we connect well, and we can actually have a smart fucking conversation with like, most people I can't have. Like they're very ignorant in like some of the ways they think, and like you guys are very flexible, and we can talk and actually have a good conversation that flows well, and we can communicate to each other and not be like, well, what do you mean by that? I have to discuss it. It's like, oh, God damn it. Now I have to fucking break my thoughts down and then, throw it around. But, I feel like we can make great content with each other, so that's why I'm here.
Yeah. For me, it's
my face.
Assuming it's my turn.
That's
the only reason I'm here.
Joey wound down.
Yes, I'm trying to very sneakily...
Trying
very sneakily when it's nice to slip into Joey Lee.
That's not
what I have here.
It might have already happened.
They don't know this.
No, what's awesome about me and Tom did, like, before you had your first surgery, we were just talking about, and we just sat down and had this talk, and I've recorded conversations with some of my good friends before, and I will never share them. They're for me and for them if they want them. But you can ask kind of the hard questions out of people that way. That, it's, what do you really think?
Yeah, like how often do we ever talk about things like abortion? That kind of thing,
Well, that's just it.
And get real with it.
And it's not a place for everything, but it's for a thought exercise. It's not something I want to do on Friday night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I would gladly do it on Friday night, but, I have other distractions going on then. But what you don't understand what I'm saying. There's also a place for this.
Yeah.
And I think that is very underlooked.
Yeah.
In the time and place that we live now. There's so much noise out there and this and that and the other. And but just be able to sit down and have a real conversation and just have thoughts. And listen to thoughts. And the thing is, like, even when I'm talking now, I'm second guessing and rethinking. You know what I mean? It's kind of a thought experiment. Where, like, I said that earlier, but
how's he going to react?
Or
not.
Or is that
how
even...
am I going to react? Is that what I would really say?
Okay. It's kind of like a bubble of like, I'm going to throw something out there. Is it what I want? Okay, I'm going to just go with it.
Right.
Or,
just run with it.
I kind of want to tweak it. That kind of thing.
It allows me the ability to better myself.
Yeah.
So if this thing gets 5 views or
you should be fucking educated.
5,000 views, I don't care because this is all for me.
Yeah.
It's all for me. It's another way for me to better myself, and that's what this trip's been about in the last 6 months here.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
In 3 more months, we can have a baby.
Yeah.
and in 3 months, we will have.
We will have a baby.
We will have a baby, and that'll be
You
coming
just
soon.
don't know it yet.
Yeah, that explains the belly.
Joey's the next person on MTV's I was pregnant
my
and didn't know it.
Like I
I'm
said,
gonna be-
the
I'm
entire
gonna
thing
be
about this
streaming-
podcast.
I'm gonna be,
is to get
I'm gonna be
inside
streaming on the
Joey Lee.
TFT, and Joey's gonna be like, "Oh my god, I just had a baby."
That's
Oh my god!
taking a
but
dump one day and fucking just, oh god.
Our intro to the next video is I already have it planned out. Just you sitting there with your little swaddling cloth,
Yeah, just like-
little
Drop it a couple times, just like natural things.
just a bottle of Red Label up to the fake baby's mouth.
If we can get a nipple on that, oh god, yes.
Get a pacifier and stick it in the top. Yes.
Oh my goodness. No, but yeah.
Absolutely.
I just think we just work well together. We mesh well. There's
Yeah.
serious and there's funny
That's why,
parts
that's
and
why I really I hope this
like just
at least
like
sounds
that.
well.
Yeah.
You know, because the conversations are awesome.
Yeah.
You know, like we've had some great conversations the last few weeks.
Pretty legit.
And
Yeah.
I'm hoping on the production side, which is also personally what I'm trying to work on too,
Yeah.
is like I really want to do this kind of thing. Like I didn't find this type of stuff until I was well into college.
Yeah.
You know, like I knew.
Well, the platform wasn't there,
Yeah.
No.
At least
until
in our
2010.
our area was totally
You know,
underserved by this
there were
type of stuff.
podcasts out before then, but it was nowhere near
Yeah.
the volume. that
Partially
it's at
why
now.
I chose the name too, because like, you know, in the Midwest, like outside of like guys like you, like you're not the norm for like knowing this kind of stuff.
I'm not the norm for anyone.
No, but I mean, like
No one's the
you're
norm.
you're quite the extreme. Like, you know, you just rattled off like 8 podcasts.
Yeah.
How many people in the middle of nowhere in Iowa that you know that can do that?
No one.
Exactly. So like that's
I don't
why,
know anyone like me.
That's kind of why
No
I
one
chose,
should know anything like me.
kind of why I went with the name too. So be like, you know, there are people like me. I had no idea who Rooster Teeth really was until I was like 22. And it's like, I love video editing. I love making videos. I had no idea this thing was fucking there until I was 22. And YouTube's been around. The first gameplay
Right.
videos got to be like what, 2007, 2008, when
Something up
Achievement
there.
Hunter started.
Yeah,
They were
let's
really
say-
one of the
let's
first
say
ones.
that, yeah.
And like, I had no idea it was a thing. And I've loved video games my whole life, and I had no fucking clue because, frankly, I didn't have high-speed internet until I went to college.
Yeah.
You know,
You had
And
DSL.
I
Or was
didn't
dial-up?
I didn't. I had dial-up until I went to college.
God bless the soul.
You know, and I'm 24 now.
Someone picks up the internet, picks up the phone,
Yeah,
disconnected.
my parents. I finally talked them into getting DSL after I came back to homecoming that following year,
Oh, jeez.
and it's a totally different world that I didn't know existed, and I want to be a part of it, which is also why I'm doing the podcast too.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of fun more than anything. Like
Oh, yeah.
these conversations, we're gonna have them anyway.
Yeah.
So I can record the shit.
Yeah.
And wow, people.
The wowing people isn't the big thing about it for
No.
me.
That's why I gave it the sarcastic motion.
Yeah.
Because our conversation about Joey having a baby is just gonna wow people.
First surrogate man.
Wait until they see the tape of me making the baby with Joey.
That's gonna go viral. Not on YouTube, but
Arnold
somewhere else.
Schwarzenegger went back in time to make a movie about a man having a baby. It's based on Joey's life.
Hey, I'm just like,
It was the
It's my conception.
Did it come out the year you were born? That would have been awesome if it did.
92.
It might have.
Mother of God, if it did.
I
Round of applause,
I don't
Arnold.
even-
Round of
what-
applause.
What is that movie?
I must be a disappointment to
It's
him.
not twins. It's
Fuck. I'm on IMDb. Anyway, you know what? Screw it.
twins.
We're pretty close
Mr.
to end. We got
Kindergarten Cop.
we are getting close to time.
Kindergarten cop.
We will I will IMDb the video in the link below.
Okay.
Along with all links we've been talking about. They are definitely podcasts worth checking out.
Yep.
Worth at least.
Very much so.
Don't just watch one episode. You know, watch a few. If it clicks for you, that's something that's cool.
Just go to the one with the most views.
No.
Hit them all.
Terrible,
You don't
terrible
think so?
mentality. There is some great stuff on the internet that gets like no hits.
Oh, hold on. I have to
No,
do
to find out if it's for you or
Oh,
not.
they're
Oh,
they're
yeah.
individual episodes.
Right.
Yeah, I got you.
I do a shout out to
Yeah.
a startup podcast that just happened. It's on oh god, Mana Resource. It's a beautiful podcast. It's with 2 people from Tolarian College and Mana Resource, and it's just a beautiful Magic the Gathering podcast. And
Beautiful.
yeah,
Joey uses beautiful a
it's
lot. I like
beautiful. It's beautiful.
it. Beautiful. No, Farmers Talk. Beautiful podcast.
Beautiful podcast.
Beautiful will be in
It's a beautiful
quotation marks.
podcast. But I mean,
I like it.
it's a lot of information. If you're into Magic Gathering, I recommend going there. It's just these 2 guys. They tit-tat back and forth about the upcoming set and all
All
that
right.
stuff. Yeah,
Now
continue.
we have like 3 minutes.
Yeah.
But anyway, All those links will be below. Check them out. Find something that works for you, and hopefully you're a fan of it. Keep following it because podcasts are cool.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they can be really, really cool things. So, but you gotta follow them to get that.
And the most important thing that a lot of people don't realize is that what you put into yourself, you're gonna get out of yourself.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
People don't get that.
Yeah.
They sit around, they watching Big Bang Theory
Oh, fuck
and
that
all
show.
this
Nothing
all
wrong with
this
that
other
show.
garbage. Like, if you have free time on your hands, listen to something worth listening to that makes you
Yeah.
think and puts decent ideas in your head.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's us either.
Challenge yourself.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm not saying that's us
mentally. Like one of the reasons I like talking to Brennan is because we challenge each other's views.
all the time.
And that's a
All
good
the time.
thing. That needs to happen more positively. We do it in a good way where we don't get pissed at each other and walk away like Washington or other places to be like Des Moines.
Well,
or
half
places
the
like that.
friends I have, if I told them what I thought about things, they'd,
Exactly.
throw a hissy
and
fit
we're
and
like,
walk away.
we're like, hey, I disagree. Here's why.
A lot
Here
of
are
our
reasons.
friendship bases around the fact that we disagree around everything.
Yeah.
But it makes me
That's
think
a solid
about
friendship,
stuff.
though. But you think about it,
It really
that's
is. It
solid,
really
yeah.
is.
And that's why. But we are really, really, really short on time. So
Yeah.
check us out at the website, please. Share the video. Like if
Yeah.
this struck a chord with you, share it, please, by all means.
Like,
And-
subscribe. Please visit farmnerds.com. I did
Yeah,
some
check out
time
the
into that.
website. Farm Nerds. Yeah, Joey.
And the letter B, spearhead.com.
He will be linked
Yeah,
Check
below
out my
as well.
blog.
Yeah, and
Very good blog.
other than that, follow us on Twitter too at Farm Nerds. I don't think I ever mentioned that in the actual podcast.
Nope,
the
you did it.
channel has a Twitter too at
Okay.
Farm Nerds
That's
where we
fun.
post when videos go live, things like that. And so if you need to contact one of us, that'd be a place to go to. We also have an email that's in our About section as well. So if you have ideas for things like Farm Nerds Talks or a topic for the podcast too, let us know. Shoot us one there. And other than that, we'll see you whenever the next video gets posted with this Farm Nerds Talks.
Yeah.
Thank you, bitches.
Spock. Oh, that's one thing we never covered.
Live long and prosper.
Spock died.
I don't care.